All right, let's talk about a challenge that honestly we all face. How do you take a big, messy, ambitious goal and actually turn it into something real? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today, the world of project management. You know that feeling, right? You've got this brilliant idea, this huge task sitting in front of you, and you're just staring at it thinking, oh man, where do I even begin? That feeling of being totally overwhelmed? That's the very problem project management was created to solve. And this visual really just nails it. You see how things often start on the left, in that jumble of chaos and uncertainty. That's the beginning. But with the right kind of structure, you can navigate all those problems and risks to get to the other side, to a clear result, a success. Project management, well, that's the map that gets you there. Okay, so to actually use that map, we first have to understand the territory we're in. So let's start with the most basic question of all. What exactly is a project? Here's the textbook definition, but it's pretty simple when you break it down. There are two key words you really need to latch onto: temporary and unique. So unlike your day-to-day work, a project isn't something that goes on forever. It's got a clear start and a clear finish. And its goal is to create something new, something that hasn't been done in this exact way before. And the thing is, projects are absolutely everywhere. I mean, look at this. You've got big professional ones like building construction, but you've also got personal stuff like planning a wedding or even studying for an exam. Building a bridge, launching a new app, organizing a vacation, yep, they all fit the bill. They're all projects. Okay, so now that we know what a project is, let's peel back a layer. Let's look at the essential building blocks. What are the key ingredients that make up the blueprint for any project? You know, a really great way to understand what a project is to understand what it isn't. And it's not routine operations. Those are the day-to-day tasks that just keep the lights on. Projects are different. They're a one-time push to create something totally new. And once that goal is hit, the project is done. It ends. So here's the crucial part. Every single project, and I mean every project, whether you're building a skyscraper or planning a birthday party, has these four things. It's got a specific goal. It has limits on its resources, like time and money. It's a unique, one-of-a-kind task, and it needs a team, an organization, to actually get it done. Okay, this next idea is absolutely fundamental. Seriously, every project manager lives and breathes by these rules. We're talking about something called the triangle of constraints, which basically sets the boundaries for anything you're trying to build. And really, it all comes down to this. Every project is a balancing act. You're constantly trying to juggle the time you have, the money you can spend, and the actual work you promise to deliver. It's this incredibly delicate dance. And these are the three sides of that triangle. You've got time, that's your deadline, you've got cost, that's your budget, and you've got scope, which is just a fancy word for all the specific work you need to do. These three are always connected, always pushing and pulling on each other. And what's sitting right there in the middle, completely affected by how you balance those three things? Quality. The quality of your final result is a direct outcome of how well you manage time, cost, and scope. You can't cheat the triangle. This is where projects succeed or fail. This is the unbreakable law of project management. If your client suddenly wants something done faster, that's a change to time, well, it's either going to cost more money or you'll have to do less work, which is a change in scope. You push on one side of the triangle, the other sides have to move. Understanding that trade-off is everything. So we've got our definition and we have the rules of the game. Now let's look at the journey itself. Projects don't just happen randomly. They follow a pretty clear, structured path from beginning to end. This lays it all out perfectly. It's a logical flow. You start with the idea, the conception. Then you move into defining the plan. After that is the realization, where all the work gets done. And finally, you have the closure. So let's just quickly walk through each of these phases. So first up is conception. That's the spark, the what-if moment. Then comes definition, and this is so important. This is where you do all the detailed planning. Next is realization, usually the longest part, where the team is actually doing the work. And finally, closure, where you hand over the finished product and officially close the books on the project. Okay, let's zoom out for a second. This whole structured way of thinking, it wasn't just invented last week. It actually has a pretty fascinating history that helps us understand why it's so important today. I mean, you can trace it back to the early 1900s with Henry Gantt's famous charts. Then in the 50s, you get these super complex planning methods. By the 60s, project manager was a real actual job title. And in the 90s, the big shift was realizing that quality had to be at the center of everything.
So when you use these techniques, you're not just following some business trend. You are tapping into a discipline that was born out of pure necessity and has been refined for over 100 years to tackle exactly the kinds of complex challenges we all face.
So let's bring this all home. What's the framework you can use right now? Well, first, define your project and what makes it unique. Second, always be thinking about that project triangle, balancing time, cost, and scope. And third, follow the 4 phases of the journey. This structure, this is your most powerful weapon for turning that messy chaos into crystal clarity.
So now you have the map, and that brings us to the real question. What's that next big, messy, ambitious goal that you're going to tackle? Whether it's something for work or something just for you, how can you use this framework to finally make it happen?